Hello guys, Anmol here from Paris and Baz Real Estate, coming back to you for another episode, bit of a tongue twister there, for our Paris and Baz cast, our weekly episodes where we bring to you new guest speakers to talk about the topics that impact property management, sales and finance, the three services we provide here. Today we are joined by Oliver Jackson.
Hello. Thanks
All the way from Melbourne, so thank you, our first interstate guest speaker.
Oh really?
Yeah, there you go.
Made a debut today.
To talk about the topic of renovations and which type of renovations will actually add value to the property when you're looking at selling. And we'll talk about the art of flipping as well, which is one of the common things that people, when are looking at renovating for a profit, what is involved in that and how we go about that. There you go. Let's get this started.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
So a bit of an introduction and background about yourself.
So I've got a company called Living Property with my wife. I was in construction for 10 years and I was building my property portfolio, renovating properties. I did about 5 or 6 of them and it kind of just made sense after about 5 years.
Yeah.
I just really loved it and I was helping a lot of my friends do it. And it just kind of made sense to just start a business doing it. I love it. It was my passion. It's an amazing opportunity to do it as a business. I really love it.
Absolutely.
So you and your wife full time?
I got twins, 2.5-year-old twins.
Yeah.
So she's more full time than that.
Okay.
But yeah, we are both involved.
Very
I'm
good.
definitely full time.
Yeah.
So what's the 3 things we look for when we renovating? The top 3 things.
Number 1 is building and pest inspection.
Yeah.
Unless you want to knock it down, I'd say the most important thing is to make sure it's got good bones, good structure. There's no point in renovating the inside if it's going to fall down.
Exactly.
Especially asbestos, and we've got to be careful with that.
Yeah, if you're going to do it yourself and there's asbestos in it, you could come run into some health issues. So yeah, number 1 is definitely make sure that it's got good bones, unless obviously you want to knock it down and subdivide. Number 2 would be how big of a job is it? If you're keen to gut the place and get right into it, make sure you've done all your costings properly, because you don't want to over-capitalise, especially if we're talking about flipping today. A lot of people think they can spend, they say 20 grand and they spend 50, and then they try and flip it and they realise they didn't make any money. It's kind of like...
And the time is lost as well.
So much time, 6 months, interest rates, that's probably the 2 biggest ones. And the third one is obviously location. Don't just go and buy any house you find because you like it and you want to renovate it. Make sure it's in the right location, otherwise you're going to not do it very good.
You're not going to make money.
So the worst house in the best street.
100%. Location is 80%.
Yeah.
In terms of upgrading the property, where do we see more bang for buck, basically?
You can go into a house and just paint it, change some door handles and some fixtures and fittings. That can be all you need to do. Some places you might have to gut the whole thing. Sometimes it's easier to gut it and redo it, because if you do half of it and then you fix that and then it doesn't look different years, doesn't look right. Like most of the times I've ever done it, we always just gut it. Or just do a paint.
Because if you're doing part here, part there, you don't know where to draw the line.
Exactly. And you always find problems. You pull something out and then you got problems there, and then you pull that out, and then you problems there, you might as well pull it all out.
Ends up
just get in, pull it all out, start again.
Exactly.
The best way.
So I think to have a clear budget and what to do, I think is very important from
budget,
the start,
100%.
And what would be sort of the low-hanging fruit, so to speak, of what's the quick, as you've mentioned about the paint, but anything else in your experience which is either increase the rental return or sales? What would be the...
Yeah, if you can get a place that's already in a reasonable condition, and if you can literally just change all the door handles, change all the fixtures and fittings, paint it, make it look fresh. You're going to get great bang for your buck with that.
So like the likes we were talking about, putting in gas, putting in a dishwasher, simple things like that.
Yeah, dishwasher,
necessities.
100%.
Necessities.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And in terms of selling, I think the heart of the home, the kitchen and the bathrooms are the commonly most renovated things. I mean,
definitely.
I would say that.
Definitely. I reckon the kitchen first, then the bathroom. Obviously, bedrooms, all you have to do is the ground and paint. And just cupboard space. I think a lot of people don't realise how important storage is.
Because these days,
everyone's a hoarder.
I
am.
Some of the properties we walk into, the storage that you do need, but it's not there. And stuff
that makes it difficult.
You can put cupboards up high. There's so many things you can do, but some people just don't even think about it. It's like in the 60s and 70s, no one had stuff. It's crazy.
A lot of the 30-plus old properties that we've seen, 30-year-old plus, they didn't have much storage.
And a lot of the properties we have sold is because some have a lot of storage. which basically the buyers really liked.
And even aircon, fans, simple things like that.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and what's commonly made mistakes you've seen that are very common?
Overspending.
Yeah.
People trying to DIY it and they think that they're going to save money, and then they end up having to get someone in and then they have to redo it. Ends up costing twice as much. Should have just got the professional in the first place. Asbestos, people don't realise. Like they obviously don't know until they're halfway through it, and then you're in trouble. Like you don't want to mess with that. That's a big thing. The biggest thing's overspending though. Like
the budget just
blows out. Get a professional in. If you can do it yourself, you can help with it. You know, ask the professional, what can I do to save money? Do you want me to do that part of the job and you can finish it? A lot of good tradies don't want to do that kind of work anyway. So they'll let you help. It'll save you money.
Exactly.
I have an example where we had a DIY landlord who had painted the whole property, but they used the same paint on the doors and on the ceiling. And there was a leakage, which then he ended up having to pay to actually like a professional to do that again because it wasn't, painted right. It wasn't the right paint. So people don't know that. And they just think that, it's just paint. We'll be able to do that. I've got a question here. How much value does flooring change add? So from carpet to hardwood or tiles?
How much value does it add?
Yeah. Is that
personal preference? I think.
Sure.
I prefer floating floors only because carpet gets trashed every 5-10 years. You've got to change it. Floating floors is going to last longer. It costs more to put in. It looks a lot nicer, in my personal opinion. Someone can put a rug over it. So you can still have the kind of carpet. A lot of people like to put carpet in the bedrooms because they think it feels warmer and more homely. But personally, I think floating floors all the way.
Especially with dust and young children.
And pets.
Pets. So when we get requests from tenants, that is definitely having wooden flooring is more in demand as opposed to carpet, and especially from a cleaning perspective and the marks and everything. But it does require a bit more maintenance from scratches and whatnot. So you've got to be bit more careful.
I actually just renovated one of my properties, and it's from the 70s, and they had lino, and I pulled it up, and it had the most beautiful floorboards. Like they covered over the floorboards with lino. Wow. It's like these days, all you want is floorboards.
Exactly.
Dig up the floor, see what's under there before you.
It's becoming more common now, timber floorboards.
Definitely.
So I guess from a cost perspective, so I guess lino would be sort of the entry level. From that, and then followed by carpet. Carpet's quite cheap per square meter.
Carpet's good because it can hide. Like to put floating floors in, you have to have the floor has to be level, so you might have to level it with concrete. With carpet, you can just bang it over anything. Exactly. Doesn't matter
as long
so
as
much.
you level it.
100%.
The timber floor needs to be
it needs to be flat. I think it's within 4 mils. Floating floor has to be within 4 mils of level. And if you think of a building from 40 years ago, cost an extra money to put the concrete down to make sure it's level. But I think it's worth it.
Longevity.
100%.
So the key takeout is I think the budget is very important because I've seen a number of vendors they bought a property, they want to flip it, but they've overspent on the renovation and they can't sell the property because they won't be making any money.
They'll lose money.
The intention of buying the property has gone down the drain.
And I mean we were talking about examples where someone's done sold a property for 30,000 profit. It's like, why go through all that time just for that? So that brings us to the next question of flipping. That is something that is quite commonly seen. So, for example, the way that the market has been, the prices have been quite affordable, so to speak, to be able to invest in Sydney, to be able to buy a property. But some people are thinking, okay, so if I buy now, yes, I'm buying it cheap, but I should be able to flip it. Let's talk about that and how important it is to time the market right.
I don't think you can time the market. I think flipping's... If you're just buying a property to flip it, I think it's very hard, especially with the amount of fees we pay in this country. It costs you $100,000 to buy and sell a property. Like you're going to have to do pretty well in your renovation. If you're a borderless investor, you've got more of a chance of doing well. You can buy. Obviously, you make all your money when you buy in. So use a buyer's agent or do your due diligence. Don't just because you live in Sydney, buy in Sydney. Just because you live in Brisbane, buy in Brisbane. You have to buy exceptionally well and then seriously budget properly on your renovation. And don't ever do a renovation to what you like. Do it to what the masses like.
That's right. And I think
that's a very
so over capitalizing. So a lot of people putting the plush carpet or the best tiles from a
you got to do it with the head, not with the heart.
Exactly. And putting in if you like green, you put in a green wall. It's like 90% of people won't like a green wall. So do it white, do it clean, do it simple.
Clean lines, neutral.
Buy granite, not marble. Just things like little things that just add up in the long run. But most important is definitely buy the right
build equity from the start.
Yep.
That's where the meat is basically.
100%.
Yeah. So it's definitely not a flipping market.
Yeah. You've got to be very
true with the
careful.
stamp duty and agent fees and solicitor fees. Yeah.
We've started to buy blocks of units. So you buy the whole block of units, so you're getting a discount because you're buying a whole block, renovating the internal and external of the block, and then flipping it. You can make some money doing that, but obviously you need to be able to do it.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. And I guess the other thing also is that, as you were talking about the borderless investing in and flipping in that market, you got to have the on-ground team
100%.
that has that expertise, because otherwise,
every day there.
Exactly, there'll be a lot of plane trips.
Unless you want to do something like buy a house, subdivide the back off, sell the block, renovate the house.
Yeah.
That's getting a little bit more advanced. It's not a developer, but almost. But for a simple flip of a property, quite hard.
Yeah. But it does, in terms of rental return, and anything that is a basic necessity, as we're talking about a dishwasher, aircon, those simple things do add value, even timber floorboards. So if that's something, the simplest things that you can do, you're holding on to the property, that would be definitely recommended.
And also the capital add that you do to the property. You can find
depreciation.
Capital works depreciation. So that's
right.
still cost base of the property. So that's not an added value to
We're all about buying, renovating, holding. Hire your rent, use that equity to buy more property. Why would you sell it? Why would you give the government more money when you can just hold on to it and it will go up eventually?
Yeah, and that's the thing, because property is a long-term game, so you want to be able to hold it at least 7 years. I think that's where the cycle transfers again. 7 to 10 years to be able to do that.
Yep. And
Perfect.
What do you think about the Melbourne market at the moment?
Well, for home buyers, where we've been buying, it's actually been pretty crazy. There's been 200 to 300 people at auctions.
Wow.
So it's
in certain
selection?
certain areas, family areas, like close to city. Anywhere there's a really good public school zone is just been out of control. Like it's actually ridiculous. Like people I think they've decided to save $30,000 a year on private school fees and go to a public school and spend $1-2 million in a house. Like investment property is not so good in Melbourne, but home buyers, it's definitely picking up.
And where else are you investing, or where else other projects have you got?
Regional Victoria, Adelaide, Brisbane, and thinking about Perth at the moment.
Okay.
Big things to come there.
Okay.
If people start getting scared off by it.
Because Perth is still in the doldrums at the moment, isn't it?
It's real at the bottom.
So this is the time to buy.
Exactly.
Good time to do that.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's it. So any other final words or anything to avoid on, to what's actually not going to add value?
I'd just say, if you're a DIYer, be careful. Get a professional in. Get 3 or 4 quotes. Deal with 20 tradies. If you don't want to do that, get a project manager. Like, do due diligence on the project manager to make sure they're doing the right thing by you. Buy the right property in the right place, and use a buyer's agent.
100%. Very important.
Definitely.
So from a tradesman perspective, so a plumber, electrician would be, and what else is there?
It's probably 15 trades you need for you got a tiler, you've got a painter, you've got a plumber.
But in terms of critical, if you stuff up plumbing
and electrician, you don't want to die.
That's it.
And you need your plumbing done. Definitely.
If you're doing
professional.
Extending, then a carpenter as well.
Yeah, of course. And a builder, if you're going to do if you're going to knock out load-bearing walls, you need.
That's right.
You need engineers. You need an actual construction builder to sign it off. You can't DIY that. Exactly.
So it's not for the faint-hearted.
You don't watch the block and think you can just do it.
That's it. I think that's the key message here, because it makes it look so easy, because it is over time, but it happens in a couple of hours or whatnot, and it just feels that anyone can do this, but there's
and it
a
can
lot
take months. To do a renovation can take 2-3 months if you how much time have you got
to do it right
and do it properly. Too easy.
There you go. Thank you very much for tuning in. Very informative session. So thank you for that, Oliver.
Thanks for having me.
Next week, we've got Craig Mealy from Bluestone Mortgages to talk about near prime lending. So those that may be credit impaired or have inconsistent payments from where they are in a different profession. So we'll be talking more about that. So do come back next week, Thursday, 3 p.m. and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks.